Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name's Mark McNulty, and I'm president of Action Coach Bluegrass. And today I have Tim Wolter, who is the founder and CEO of SafetyVue. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking to Tim about his business, his journey to business ownership, challenges, some best practices, and share a peek into what it's really like to own and operate your business. Now, if this is your first time on our channel, please go ahead and like and subscribe so you can get notifications when future interviews get dropped. So Tim, thanks again for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about SafetyVue.
Thanks for having me, Mark. SafetyVue really came about with two catalyst events. One was my daughter and having struggles in school and needing something that gets out of the one-size-fits-all methodology and really is able to adapt to somebody with technologies and market with AI, ML, and things like that. It really gives us the possibility to do it. Then the second one was my friend. He had an accident on a construction site. I was talking with him. I've spent 15 years in construction before I ended up getting hit by a drunk driver. But then him and I were speaking about it, and I was like, hey, let's take the ability to adapt and bring it into safety to try and save lives and reduce costs. I mean, his injury cost the company over $4 million between lost medical. So let's bring that all together and now help reduce job site injuries.
Okay, so that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about what your company structure looks like. You know, who's on the team and how do you divvy up the roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, so we have a really talented team that's kind of spread out between development and project management and business side. Myself, I'm really the vision, strategy, chief everything officer at some times. Then my now wife, she's our CXO. She has a background in nursing. She brings a human factor to it where mine's more raw business, and she brings that insights for how to structure visually aspects, how to tap into, how the emotional side of it is, and really bring that forward. My CTO, he's been the whole team, most of the team, we've worked together for years, but the CTO, he has founded a robotics institute as well as a AI company. So he's kind of that taking my scramble and bringing that to life. I always say I have enough to be dangerous and break stuff, so they keep me balanced out. And then we have front-end developers, back-end UX designers, and then as well as for the simulation Unity developers, project managers, and the project teams are structured to the product. We have SafetyVue Insights, which brings the data analytics into it that allows for our training to be so effective. And so we have a product team under that, as well as a product team under our simulations, because that takes more drawing, more visual components to it. So, yeah.
Okay. Who's your primary customer that you serve? Who's your target market?
Our target market, our beachhead has been the Southeast. It's growing quite substantially, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, throughout the Southeast, targeting around the mid-size to mid-large size construction companies that are technology forward and want to bring something in to provide the insights on their construction site by connecting to live camera feeds, things to this, to have that proactive approach, and then take that and let's train people to their abilities in that adaptive platform.
So what's the competition? Machine learning, AI, technology has really been taken off. Is there a lot of competition out there in your space?
There is. There are some key players within the simulator portion of it. Where we really set ourselves apart is how we're utilizing data to provide the adaptive component to it. Some big players that their machines are gorgeous and they're able to hot swap components and things like that. We're just bringing that adaptive into the simulation and then providing an affordable way for a company to get into it that doesn't take big, heavy equipment, but equipment to where they can move it around an office, things of this nature, and provide the safety training that is needed.
Okay. So, you mentioned your daughter's situation, learning, how has that played into what you're doing? And have you been able to help in that realm?
Yeah. So, I mean, when we first started this journey, it was focused around adaptive learning and building that out. And one of the issues she was facing is distraction, like ADHD symptoms. I hadn't taken her to a doctor, but it's how do we move them through and help our children? And that's how it started. And we were going to build out an educational platform, but I'm not an educator outside of software and things I can utilize. So I had asked the school, I was like, how do we make it better for our kids? How do we help them? And they said, well, this is what we can do. You can get her diagnosis. I was like, there has to be better ways than to just tag somebody and try and get them through the system. And my grandfather, has a PhD in psychology, and I started looking at psychology publications, science journals, everything about how your brain operates. So then we started building out the adaptive portion, and within business, and the challenges sometimes is you have to understand and pivot to what makes sense, to what you know and your passion. So this is where SafetyVue came in, is pulling from education and building a platform that's still an education, but centered around a passion of mine and something that I was in for a while. So,
So tell us, adaptive learning is kind of a big field, right? So what's the 60-second definition of that for our listeners?
so within adaptive learning, there's a few structures. There's a if, then, and that type scenario where you do one thing, something else happens. Then there's an algorithmic based where it's a lot of functions that are saying, okay, well, you turned right, turn left, this is what's happening. But to be truly adaptive, you have to utilize data. You have to, you know, our minds are built to take instances from the past and then provide how we move forward in life, what happens when we drop something. It's based off of data. So true adaptiveness is taking what somebody is doing, understanding things that have happened, and now we can construct a different type of dynamic environment.
So tell us about marketing. So how do you market your services?
We have a company called Relinquent that is our marketing partner. They handle a lot of the marketing aspects. Internally, I have started the Safety Factor, which is a podcast to really dive into construction safety and technology within that space. We write blog posts and we have some PR, and that's really getting the word out on what SafetyVue does and how it can help companies.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, social and video and podcasting, obviously, like I'm doing with you,
Right.
that's the best way to get information out and educate people on what you do and the need for what you do.
Social's
So,
great.
yeah,
It's a struggle in its own, but we do social marketing, and that's a world of its own. So.
it is. Yeah. So, what was it like going from being in construction to starting this company? What was that transition like?
Yeah, so I mean, construction was really in the past. I got hit by a drunk driver. The doctor said, "Hey, I can't bend over. I can't work the way I did because of a disc." So I wanted to stay in that space. So I got a degree in drafting and design as well as in construction management. And I kind of worked my way through, but I always felt the need to do more. I could do more. So I was working at a software company as a COO, and I wanted to build this. My daughter happened, and it was like, I have all this experience in operations. I'm going to tackle the business and start one on my own. And it was a lot of stumbling, a lot of understanding. But the best advice I have is find people that understand. It becomes a lonely world. Have mentors, have people that can kind of guide you down that path. So when you hit the hurdles, they just don't hurt as bad. They kind of help you through it. But we've been fortunate to meet and have a lot of mentors that have provided us guidance on go-to-market, financials, things of this nature. And that would be my number one recommendation to anyone trying to start a business, is try and connect with other business owners. So build that network.
Right. So, as you look back on your journey of starting a business and then starting to build it and grow it, what's a memorable roadblock or hurdle that really challenged you personally and business wise that you had to overcome?
When I first started, my wife and I, we were really targeting the educational space, and we didn't understand the complexities to education. At the time, we just were set out to fix something, right? And really understanding that go to market, understanding your financials and how you can tackle a market was one of our biggest lessons. We were on a call, supposed to be a pitch practice, our first one. To get on this call, there was over 30 people on it. And all of a sudden, people just kept popping up. We're like, oh, so her and I were pitching together, and we stumbled through it, and they gave us feedback. It was one of those harsh realities. Like, we need to understand things a whole lot more than we understand now. We need to talk to people, and then breaking through that. And now, I've always been driven to make a difference and help people. So now trying to provide mentorship and, hey, here's hurdles that you're going to face. Understand these things is important.
What was the biggest impact that had on you as a business owner?
Having to pivot, really. I mean, from a financial standpoint, we had money that was driving towards a direction. It caused me to, the amount of hours I ended up putting in trying to redo everything I've already thought I knew, but really redo it. I mean, it was morning at 7 a.m., go to bed at 1, 2 a.m., and do it all over again for weeks just to learn, restructure, and understand.
So, looking ahead, where do you see the business going in the next 3 to 5 years, if you can share that?
Yeah, our goals are to expand across the U.S., develop additional training modules within the program, onboard, obviously, a lot more customers. And then we're working on strategic partnerships to combine it into other industries and just set that footprint of SafetyVue being a standard for not only construction industries, but industries that have that focus on providing a safe workplace.
So, for our listeners out there, when somebody hires you, what are they getting? What is the deliverable that the company gets from you that they deploy in their space?
So we have a tiered-based system. It's a B2B SaaS. We have SafetyVue Insights. This brings all the data analytics, the proactive on-site dashboard, so they can see the camera systems. It identifies potential hazards. That way they can call somebody on site. We're going to be releasing a mobile module with it to allow for direct communication from a text message, an alert, and a phone call from the on-site web app to the mobile app. But that really gets that proactive nature. It's document analysis, and it's utilizing AI to parse the information to provide the feedback to be proactive. You've had more PPE related incidences over the course of 30 days at X site, increased training there. So it's really that proactive, utilizing AI to give valuable insights to companies. And then we have the tiered system from a basic, pro, and enterprise level on the simulator. Basic comes just simulator. It's a way to provide that training. When you get into the pro and enterprise tier, it comes with the insights platform. That way they can have a full suite, utilize data, and it provides more training on the simulator side by the dynamics, where on the basic version, it's really just, here's a simulator. We are adjusting dynamically. but not to your real world situations.
So in the upgraded system, the adaptation is to their data versus just simulated data.
Generalized. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's great. You've put together a team of really smart people. So how do you lead a team like that?
I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. I'll drop his name, but he had a book, Great Leaders Eat Last, right? It emphasizes the importance of trusting in your team, building out a good team. So when we look at the company, I've learned across my years of operations, you need to have values, and you need to use values as a guiding star to hire people and also let go of people at times. But as long as everybody is marching to the same drum, to the same beat, everybody has a clear mission, vision, the business will allow itself to operate efficiently across all departments. Good communication structures. I believe in like the EOS system of structure for meetings, keeping the organization aligned. But it really starts with trusting your people, bringing on the right people. Like when I hire somebody, usually the first call is, tell me about yourself. And I'll tell you about SafetyVue. And then let me gauge your passion. If it's something you're passionate, if you really understand that, now let's dive into the resume and the background, right? And by bringing people on that believe in our mission and understand the values, it creates that synchronicity across the organization.
Okay, I love it. Culture eats strategy for lunch, right?
Right.
And hiring for culture and fit, as you've experienced, that's more important than the skill set. There's a minimum skill set, obviously, but if they're not a good fit culturally, they're just not going to stick around.
If it's outside of the culture, you're injecting a kind of a black spot within it that just kind of festers and grows, right? And heads butt, people get disgruntled, things happen. And I've seen it in organizations before, and it just creates a robotic work environment to where people almost don't communicate, don't feel like they can talk to their leadership and things like that. So,
Right.
yeah.
So for the CEO, GM, COO of a big construction company listening to this, what do you want them to know about SafetyVue? What's one thing you really want them to understand about you?
SafetyVue is not just a product that we just said, hey, this is going to be great to do. This is a passion. It's driven by life experiences. It's what I've seen on construction sites. So we are really bringing a user-focused direction to this that isn't just, we have a product, but it's user-centric. It can help an organization be proactive. So we're saving lives. So it's not just a check mark on a piece of paper, but you're bringing safety and safety focus within that organization. And we have a passion for this. As I said, it's not just a product. There's a lot of passion with who's working on it. Even I have an advisor that's been in safety since 1973. So he has a lot of understanding on OSHA guidelines. He has a lot of understanding on different safety training strategies. So we have a lot of top talent behind it and that believe in this mission.
That's a great answer for that. So, we've covered a lot of ground today. So those of you watching, I recommend watch this a couple times, listen, hear the passion. That's one of the things that really sticks out to me with business owners. And when you're not talking to other business owners, nobody understands this, right? The passion, the why, the other Simon Sinek book is Start With Why, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You've got a big why and a passion to deliver that. And I want people to listen to this and hear this and see how that, generates the excitement and the passion on your side to go excel. I love to see that when I interview people, is that passion for their mission, right? And you've got a great story. You've got two great reasons why you want to do this that are very personal.
Right.
So, And that's the other thing that's really obvious is that this business is personal to you and the success of your product and service is really personal to you. So congratulations for that. That's awesome. You've been able to take that idea and turn it into a powerful business opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
And results. So as we start to wrap up, kind of a few quick questions. You kind of answered the first couple a little bit, but I'll ask them again specifically. So what's been your key to success?
Well, persistence, resilience, the unwavering belief in that mission and having that passion and staying true to my values has gotten us to where we are right now.
Okay. Awesome. What's your top one piece of advice for other business owners?
Build a strong team, have a supportive community of mentors and people behind you. If you want to go down the entrepreneur path, those are going to become very important. Surround yourself with passionate people that share in your vision and it'll skyrocket.
Okay, awesome. So what's a book you're reading or listening to currently or recently that you would recommend to other business owners?
Yeah, I'm actually part of a book club right now, and I've been reading Business Made Simple by Donald Miller, which is a great book. But before that, I was reading Principles by Ray Dalio. That book is really good to understand as well. So all I do is listen to business books mostly. So I have I think my Amazon app, Audible. I think I have like 100, 200 business books in there at this point. So
yeah, I'm in the Audible Book a Month Club, so have been
yeah.
for 15 years.
Yep.
So if there's one area of your business that you could pick to work on and improve immediately, what would that be?
Reaching more customers to prevent accidents, just more awareness to get people on board with our mission and what we can provide to the companies out there.
Okay, awesome. So before I get to my last question, so how can people find you on the internet, social media? What are the different places people can find you and learn more about?
Yep. So SafetyVue.net is our website. There's links to social on there as well, but there's a contact us if you want to know more or you want to look at a demo. Just hit the contact us and I'll get an email. You can also follow us, share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we have a LinkedIn page as well. So, and they're all just SafetyVue as my logo has on it.
Okay, awesome. So good place to start is SafetyVue.net, and you can get to everywhere else, including contacting you directly from there.
Yes,
So
sir.
awesome. All right. So last question of the day. What inspires you the most right now, Tim?
Really the opportunity to make a difference, to protect workers, to provide training that adapts to an individual, not as a one size fits all. I look at my daughter and my kids, my wife, and that is inspiring of itself to drive this forward. And then obviously my friends and people I've seen hurt along the way on construction sites, it's something needs to change and bring safety to the forefront. So that's really
Awesome.
driving me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Well, this has been Tim Wolter, the founder, CEO of SafetyVue. It's a mission-focused business with a passion and a real strong, very personal why that Tim has turned into a thriving, growing business that provides safety in the construction industry and in the future, other industries. So, Tim, I thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you, Mark, for having me. I appreciate it.
For those of you new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see future stories about business owners and entrepreneurs with the passion and mission that Tim has, that share their stories and make us all a little bit more ready to take on the world with our businesses. Thank you much. Bye.